Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Rabbi Yitzhak Nack. I'm one of the rabbis at the Riverdale Jewish Center. I recognize many of you as regulars, and I recognize many of you as non-regulars. And both sides, it's a privilege to be here with you. And it's a privilege to be here with Tuvia to hear this interesting and important discussion tonight. You know, the Gemara tells us that halacha b'yadua she'esav soneas Yaakov, that anti-Semitism is deeply rooted in the dynamic of the universe. It's called the halacha. Halacha is the most fundamental component of everything in Jewish thought. And so in the Gemara, the Talmud refers to it as halacha b'yadua esav soneas Yaakov. At the core of existence, there's always going to be some form, some kernel of anti-Semitism. And the Gemara points to different instances within Tanakh that kind of, there are manifestations of this type of anti-Semitism. And one of them is the famous image of Jacob, of Yaakov wrestling with the angel. The angel, the Medrash tells us, is the angel of Esav. And that battle, that epic meeting, is the manifestation of anti-Semitism, of this conflict between Yaakov and his environment, between Esav and the Jewish people. And I think it's so interesting that this battle is this image, this meeting, because anti-Semitism, to a large degree, is something that makes us modern Jews, modern meaning in the 21st century, it makes us uncomfortable. It makes us uncomfortable to talk about it. It makes us uncomfortable to think about it, to really recognize it, to advocate against it. But it's there. And whenever it shows up, we're just like surprised that like, wait, it's like, how could it be that anybody still holds something against us? We're open, we're progressive, we're supportive, we belong. How could it be that anti-Semitism still exists? And yet it does. It's very real and it's very dramatic. And I think that image of the battle in the Chumash is meant to show the drama. And Tuvia, I understand, I know that you also share anti-Semitism as this image, as this drama, as something of great moment and of great emotional impact. And that concept, that type of manifestation goes all the way back to the original instances and the original creation of this dynamic within history. And we're grateful to Josh for introducing Tuvia to our community and giving us the opportunity to have this conversation. And I introduce Josh to introduce Tuvia. And I want to thank our adult ed committee, Rivka and Jeff, who did a lot of the legwork together with Oren to make sure that this could happen. Thank you.
Rabbi, thank you so much. About 5 years ago in Israel, a dear friend of mine, Sam Solomon, asked me to meet a man who I had read about, who I had heard about, and I was surprised he was so accessible to Sam and then to me. And I have a very fond memory of being on the terrace of the King David Hotel and having a very pleasant breakfast with Izzy and Tuvia. They were in New York. I was privileged to be involved modestly with one of their books. We became friends and have enjoyed a special relationship. These are colorful and brave Jews, and you will see that in a moment. As I was walking here, and by the way, they travel internationally and their time is truncated. We had dinner about 3 weeks ago, and the opportunity maybe for them to speak came up through Randy Applebaum. I want to thank Randy, you were here somewhere, yes, who I saw at my daughter's college graduation, and he said, gee, we should have a speaker come to the shul. I said, you know what? Tuvia Tenenbom is potentially available. Spoke to Izzy, and the rest is history. I am a minor event planner. Anyone who plans an event clearly wants robust attendance. I appreciate this intimate attendance of everyone here who truly wants to be here. It struck me as I was walking here this evening, what a vital Jewish community we live in, as I saw Kosher Little League, as I saw kippot everywhere, as I saw a vibrant community here in Israel, thank God, the ascension of the Jewish people like never before, a Jewish community that does not define itself, thank God, by anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism exists, as the rabbi so beautifully described. I think Sharit Yisrael, we've always been a remnant. It's part of God's plan. Thank God, I am not as brave as that man. I have not encountered it. I have not been in the belly of the beast. It's easy for me to speak that way. But in our own community a month ago, windows were being shattered, crazy things were happening. Life goes on. And the fact that hundreds of people are not here, to me, I started thinking about it and I said, you know what? Life goes on. It's not all about anti-Semitism. We are about to hear from an exceptional man. Our enemies say of the Jewish people, we are cosmopolitans. I present you a great cosmopolitan whose wife has lived in Italy, in Brazil, in Amman, Jordan, as an undercover Jew, as a journalist for a German publication. Amazing, the Jewish world is so rich and vibrant that people could have such lives. That man you will hear about, and I hope he tells a story at dinner. He was recently in the Shuk at Machane Yehuda, where a certain Shin Bet guy discreetly came over to him and said, you shouldn't be waiting in line. You're a hero. You get up in the front of the line. And he said, what you did in Catch the Jew, how you were close to, who was that certain Palestinian you were close to? Okay, I've even heard of him. I can't pronounce his name well, but I've heard of that man. And this Tuvia was very much in harm's way. Enough of my introduction. Just formally, I think most of you have read this, but Tuvia Tenenbom, author of bestsellers in Germany, 3 bestsellers in Germany and 4 in Israel, is a journalist, a dramatist. He holds advanced degrees in both fine arts and science, and is the founder of the Jewish Theater of New York. Tuvia's articles and essays have appeared in leading Western media. I cannot pronounce these German and Italian and Spanish publications, but Idiot Achronot I have heard of. And Catch the Jew, The Lies They Tell, Refugees, I Sleep in Hitler's Room, and I love the name of The Taming of the Jew. I present to you my favorite cosmopolitan, my favorite polyglot. How many languages do you speak, wild man? 8 languages? 5 languages. Lo Yutzlach Gazette, only 5 languages. Amazing. Tuvia Tenenbom and his partner in life, Izzy, who photographs, accompanies him in all that they do. They have a beautiful, beautiful union. Yes. Very good. Please, public reading.
You told me to do dramatic. You told me to do it dramatically.
You'll make us go an amazing thing. Please, can you sign your name on it?
So no pressure.
You told me to do it dramatically, and it's like the opposite of what I do. But okay, he gets it. All right, this is on page 55 of The Taming of the Jew. The chapter is "We Got Rid of the Jews." Not my words, the books. About 4 kilometers west of here, Derry's Sinn Féin is calling for a demonstration against Brexit. The fight for rights continues, they declare. Sinn Féin is an interesting animal. It is nationalist and socialist, a combination that in some other countries would be regarded as an oxymoron. Not here. I drive to the village of Kalea, where the demonstration takes place. 2 lines of people on both sides of the street stand holding signs. Altogether, there are around 20 people, far fewer than I expected. The border between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland passes here, and Karen Mullen, MLA, member of the Legislative Assembly, is leading the demonstration. I approached the lady, asking her if she could explain to me why her party is demonstrating here. Most of the people in Northern Ireland, she says, voted to remain in the EU, and their vote should be honored. The people of the UK, which means those of Northern Ireland, England, Scotland, and Wales, voted 52% to 48% to leave the EU. Isn't it so? What we are talking about is a completely different island, she argues, speaking of Northern Ireland. There was a UK vote and the majority voted to leave. Yeah? Shouldn't this vote be honored according to simple democratic principles? No. Her logic evades me. Across from us is a gas station, and I go there. A sign hanging on the wall of the restroom reads, "Gentlemen, your aim will help. Stand closer, it's shorter than you think. Ladies, please remain seated for the entire performance." I love it. I drive back to Derry to check on Hillary, but on the way to her, I stop by a neighborhood called Bogside in search of food. As I walk, I notice this big sign, "Be breast aware. If in doubt, check it out." Next to it, what a surprise, is the Palestinian flag. What does Palestine have to do with Irish breasts? What was I reading here? Maybe Hillary knows, I don't. You gotta warn me next time about that. I keep on walking, enjoying the sight of the ancient walls of Derry, and then I see a bunch of Palestinian flags all over, plus a big painting of this flag with the line, "Solidarity with Palestine." There are more Palestinian flags here than I can count. What are all these Palestinian flags about? I ask a man walking by. He doesn't want to answer. No special meaning, another man says to me, and he comes up with a genuine explanation. The Protestants, he says, raise Israeli flags, and that's why the Catholics raise Palestinian flags. Where are the Israeli flags? Well, I've not seen any, but there's no chance to ask this man because he quickly walks away. I stick around. There are more people to talk to. Why is that big painting of the Palestinian flag there? I ask another person. It's a work of art, he answers. Not bad. I ask another guy, and he comes up with this reply. I'm an Egyptian Jude. Jude is Jew in German, and as he says this, he's laughing as if this were the biggest joke ever told. Ahead of me is another sign, "Free Gaza." What's this about? I ask a lady working in a store across the road. We support Palestinians, she says. They are blown up all over the place. Who is bombing them? The Israelis. Do you mean the Jews? Yes. A few feet from me is the Bogside Inn Bar and Lounge. Let's see what's cooking there. Maybe they have food, perhaps even a chime bleu. I enter. A group of local men sit in this pub having a good time. I introduce myself as a German reporter and ask them about the Palestinian flags all over. You have a lot of Palestinian flags here. Why? Because we support them. A man by the name of Damien answers, because of the effing Jews. A man wearing a Hy-Vee orange jacket says, a man wearing a Hy-Vee orange jacket says, a man sitting between them, Barry, is wearing a Free Palestine wristband. The Israelis are scum, killing children, killing weans, says Damien. Are you talking about the Jews? Yes. They stole their land and killed the poor children. The orange man is now complaining about Hitler because he didn't kill enough effing Jews. His pals are laughing in approval, and he goes on. Hitler didn't kill enough Jews, the scourge of the world. What'd you say? The Jews, the scourge of the earth. All present agree. Have you ever seen a poor Jew? He asks. Barry's laughing, his eyes shining. He's having a good time. They all have money. They're all rich, Damien says. Are there Jews in Ireland? No, we got rid of them. Now the people in the bar are laughing louder, happier ever after. In front of a video camera, these people have no shame, spewing their poisonous hatred for the record. I asked this righteous group if they are pro-Brexit or against. Did they vote Remain or Leave? They are all Remainers, they say to me. They want to stay in the EU. A video clip of this encounter finds its way on social media with my name fully spelled out, and Irish people respond in writing. What do they say? Well, here's a small sample of what they write about yours truly. We're going to need a bigger oven to cook this giant hook-nosed rat. Truly, the Jews are a disgusting species. Oy vey, here comes another Shoah again. Reminds me I need to get some new lampshades, some soap too. Initially, when I came to this island, I was looking for a cat and a rat in a church. And now that I'm about to leave, I realize that there's much more to this island than one dead rat chased by a cat. The island of Ireland, be it the Republic of Ireland or Northern Ireland, is saturated with Jew haters. the biggest Jew haters of our time, and no dead cat will chase them away. Perhaps I should go see a Gaelic football game. Let me see, I say to myself, experiencing something totally different, something that has nothing to do with Jews, Palestinians, or Hitler. In Gaelic football or soccer, players advance the ball not just by kicking, but also by hand passing, and so no player will have free hands to fly any flag. I drive to the stadium. Before the game starts, I take my place and look at the field, quite a big field. And there across from where I sit, I see it flying high and proud, the flag of Palestine. It's time I follow the leprechauns out of this island. Goodbye, Northern Ireland. Hillary says, I'm not going to sleep with you tonight. I'm going to Scotland now. End of chapter.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brilliant. Good evening, ladies and gents and ladies. Thank you so much for being here. As I was sitting there, Josh came to me and he said, everybody who is here wants to be here. It's a good feeling, thank you. And I thank you, Josh, for making this evening possible and for making, for your contribution and for your friendship that goes since I know you. Thank you so very much. And I thank the rabbi for his speech. Where is the rabbi?
He went to Mincha.
Oh, God. Well, being that this is a Jewish organization, the synagogue, I must disagree with the rabbi, so please tell him what I disagree with him later. What did I disagree with the rabbi? He said something like, Alacha biyadua she'esav soneh liYaakov. Does it say it? Yes. There are many other things it says. You know, the Talmud, as if you don't know, I mean, I guess many of you do, if not all of you, is a collection of ideas, of philosophies, of positions, about at least 1,000 of them on every issue, and nobody agrees with anybody. So if somebody said it's halacha, okay, oter gesucht, as they say in Yiddish. So he said, from my experience, it's a little bit different, and I'll get to that. And my dear reader, and I want to thank you, I just knowing that this is going to be an Orthodox synagogue, I send this chapter with some with cutting a few things off. You know, it's differently when you read it, and it's differently when you read it aloud. But obviously, you didn't get it. You didn't get the thing, you know. So I took those parts, you know, because what am I reading? Okay, because I'm supposed to read it. Okay, but now you know the secret. Now you know everything. So, again, thank you for being here. And I'll start with why I don't think that this is halacha she'esav soneh liYaakov. First of all, the moment we say it is the moment we accept it. We say, okay, it's halacha, and you are here Orthodox Jews. She states, the goy hates the Jew, so there is no choice. That's life. There is nothing to do. I totally disagree with it. I think that there is no reason that they hate us. I mean, they hate the anti-Semitism. It's a 2,000-year-old history. Everybody who has ever investigated it. It started with the split between Christianity and Judaism. And after the Jews did not follow Jesus and we had the New Testament, there are things there, for example, when Jesus has a fight with the Jews, with his fellow Jews, by the way. And Jesus said to the Jews, I speak in the name of my Father, the Father of heaven, and you speak in the name of your father, the devil. When Jesus went to the temple, it says in the New Testament, he went up on the temple, and what did he see? Money changers. But if you take it in the context of where it was written, about 2,000 years ago, it was one Jew arguing with another Jew. Don't we have it today? One Jew argues with another Jew. One Jew says the worst of the other Jew. Go to the Israeli parliament if you didn't have a chance just to see it just 2 days ago. What happened over there, whatever everybody's saying to the other, traitor, schmeiter, goy, shmoy, boy, toy. Oh God, it was like amazing. If you take it out of context, there's one Jew is yelling at the other, it's totally anti-Semitic. I mean, and that's what happened. So the history of anti-Semitism is rooted in something, it's rooted in a religion, It's rooted in Europe, in European culture. But even though it was never intended to be like that. But going back, when I went to Israel, for example, for the book Catch the Jew, I actually didn't want to do that job. When my publisher in Germany, my main publisher is in Germany, not anywhere else. The other ones who print it and publish it are just different. They just take over something that exists. The publisher that pays for it, that commissions it. I'm a rare bird in that publishing company. It's a very left wing. The only other Jews that I know, I mean, the other Jews that they publish are names that you might be familiar with: Judith Butler, Noam Chomsky, or the way you call it in English, Noam Chomsky. I mean, I'm not the normal Jews that they publish. I mean, it just so happens that since the first book, I got like so many bestsellers. So I am a good for the point. And after I did the first book, I Sleep in Little Room in English, documenting the anti-Semitism in Germany today, the guy said to me, my editor said to me, okay, you have come to this country, you stayed here for 6 months and you traveled around. Why don't you go to the country where you were born, stay there 6 months and see what you come up, what kind of a book you come up with that one. I said, no, I don't want to go to Israel. There are so many journalists in Israel. There are so many writers in Israel. There are so many books that have been written about Israel. What can I add? So my publisher said, okay, I'll give you more money. They know how to talk to Jews. Anyway, to make a long story short, we took a plane and we flew. My dear wife, Izzy, and myself, we went to Israel, and I'll never forget it. We landed in Lod, 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that. It was, a Turkish airline coming from Turkey. We went to the apartment where we rented as a base in Jerusalem in the German colony. We arrived at 4 or 5 o'clock. We put our suitcases, and my dear wife says, okay, let's go to sleep a little bit. We didn't sleep all night. I said, sleep? Are you out of your mind? I have to write a book. I don't even know where to start. I have no clue how to do it. I must go and find something to do. Anyway, so I prevailed, and she came with me. And doing that part, I discovered things that were amazing. I discovered, I became very friendly with leaders of the Palestinian government. Jibril Rajub is one of them. We are very, very good friends for almost 6 months. We are together. We are walking together. We are eating together. We are demonstrating together. We chatted together. We laughed together. We argued together. And for all this time, he thought that I am a German, Asli German, real German, Aryan German. He never knew for 1 second that I'm Jewish, that I was born in Israel, that I even served in the Israeli army. God save us. We would sit in these places. He was in jail for, God knows, for 17, 18 years in Israeli jail. His hands are full with blood, not only of Jews, but also of Palestinians, by the way. So, and he studied Hebrew. So sometimes you would watch Israeli TV. That was the funniest part. And I would sit with them and say, yeah, Jibril, what are the Jews saying? And he would translate for me the Hebrew. It was amazing. We had a great time. Anyway, because we were there and Jibril Rajub, we fell in love with each other. There are some pictures you'll think that we are like, oh God, like a couple. This is such a loving, we are like, I mean, it's like amazing relationship, and of course, whenever we were in Palestinian areas, or Palestine, whatever you want to call it, depends on your politics, we'd be surrounded by security, Palestinian security, to protect yours truly from the horrifying Jews. It was amazing. And through the time, I learned to know a lot of European, all the NGOs, the people who come to Israel, to supposedly to make peace between Arab and Jew. And I was the good German. They could trust me, and they told me exactly what they think. That the Jews are the worst nation in the world. There are people who are starving for blood. thirsting for blood and starving for the flesh of their enemies or whatever, of anybody who is not Jewish. Amazing, everything, it's like frightening when the book came out and everything is recorded, by the way, it's videoed. I mean, the state of Israel was shocked. I mean, nobody believed it. Anyway, so, but to be honest with you, I don't like to write about anti-Semitism. It's not a pretty picture to do. It's not so comfortable when you talk to a guy, for example, in Germany, and I say to him, tell me, Frank, how can we solve the troubles of the world? And he answers, if we kill the Jews. And I know he talks about me. He doesn't know. But it doesn't feel good. You will never know he talks about me, even though he tells me, you know, I can tell a Jew for miles away, kilometers away. I smell them. Firstly, I say, how do you know that? Firstly, the Jews, all of them have killed her. Yeah. You know, it's like all kinds of things, you know, it's like I've heard so many things about these things. I mean, they are funny, but it's not something that I like to do. You know, I remember I talked to a pharmacist he has a pharmacy in Vienna, and he says to me, I can tell if somebody walks in, I can tell immediately if that person is a Jew. I said, yeah, how do you do that? He said, you know, when a Jew goes into the pharmacy, he walks like this. A normal person walks like this. Hello? Just God. But the Jew walks. I said, why does the Jew that? He wants to see what can he steal. This is like the image that we have. So it's like funny, but it's like, you know, one time it's like enough is enough. So when it came the fourth book, like in Germany, the books have different names. It's like a series, all the 5 books. They are called Allein unter. For example, the first one, and the German book, I sleep in it was it's called Allein unter Deutschen, alone amongst German. The book about Israel and the Palestinians is Allein unter Juden, alone among Jews, and or Allein unter Flüchtlingen, and, you know. So when it came to, you know Yiddish, you know what it means, right? What? Flüchtlingen, refugees. Refugees. Yeah, but it's a bit Yiddish. It depends on what kind of Yiddish you are. You are not a Deutscher Yiddish. If you are a German Jew, it's a Flüchtlingen. If you are a Polish Jew, it's allein unter Schmeckerlach. Whatever it is in it.